Hello. Don't forget to like and subscribe before starting the video. Who is Ronald Reagan? Ronald Reagan was the 40th President of the United States, serving from 1981 to 1989. Before his presidency, Reagan had a long and varied career that included stints as an actor, union leader, and governor of California. Born in Tampico, Illinois in 1911, Reagan grew up in a working-class family and attended Eureka College in Illinois, where he studied economics and sociology. After college, Reagan pursued a career in radio and eventually moved to Hollywood to pursue acting. He appeared in dozens of films throughout the 1930s and 1940s, becoming one of Hollywood's most popular leading men. However, he also became involved in union politics and served as president of the Screen Actors Guild from 1947 to 1952. In the 1960s, Reagan turned his attention to politics and became a conservative spokesperson, giving speeches and making television appearances in support of conservative causes. He was elected governor of California in 1966 and served 2 terms, during which he implemented conservative policies such as tax cuts, spending reductions, and deregulation. In 1980, Reagan ran for president and won a decisive victory over incumbent Jimmy Carter. As president, Reagan pursued an ambitious agenda of tax cuts, deregulation, and military buildup, which he believed would spur economic growth and restore American strength and confidence. He also pursued a hawkish foreign policy, standing up to the Soviet Union and other perceived threats to American security. One of the key ways in which Reagan's political philosophy differed from those of his predecessors was in his approach to the economy. Whereas previous presidents had favored Keynesian economics, which emphasized government spending and intervention to stimulate economic growth, Reagan believed in supply-side economics. This theory held that by reducing taxes and regulation, government could create a favorable environment for businesses to invest and grow, which would in turn stimulate economic growth and create jobs. Overall, Reagan's political philosophy was characterized by a belief in limited government, free markets, and individual liberty. He saw government as a necessary evil that should be kept as small as possible, and he believed in the power of free markets to drive economic growth and prosperity. While his philosophy differed from those of his predecessors, it would come to shape the direction of American politics in the years to come. Ronald Reagan's presidency was marked by a number of significant accomplishments, including his efforts to cut taxes, deregulate the economy, and rebuild the military. These policies were intended to stimulate economic growth, create jobs, and restore American confidence after the tumultuous 1970s, which were characterized by inflation, high unemployment, and a crisis of confidence in American leadership. One of Reagan's key accomplishments was his 1981 tax cuts, which were designed to spur economic growth and create jobs by putting more money back in the pockets of American taxpayers. Reagan believed that reducing the tax burden on individuals and businesses would stimulate investment and economic activity, leading to increased prosperity and job creation. The tax cuts were controversial at the time, with critics arguing that they would lead to increased budget deficits and worsen income inequality, but they ultimately proved to be a key driver of the economic boom of the 1980s. Another major accomplishment of Reagan's presidency was his efforts to deregulate the economy. Reagan believed that excessive government regulation was stifling economic growth and innovation, and he sought to roll back regulations across a wide range of industries, from banking and finance to telecommunications and transportation. This deregulation helped to stimulate competition and innovation, and it paved the way for the growth of industries such as telecommunications and technology. Reagan also focused on rebuilding the military, which he believed had been weakened by years of neglect under previous administrations. He oversaw a significant increase in military spending, which helped to modernize and strengthen the armed forces and restore American confidence in its ability to defend itself and its allies. Despite these successes, Reagan's presidency was not without controversy and challenges. The Iran-Contra scandal, in which members of the Reagan administration were found to have secretly sold weapons to Iran in exchange for the release of American hostages and then used the proceeds to fund anti-communist rebels in Nicaragua, was a major scandal that tarnished Reagan's legacy. The war on drugs, which Reagan had made a priority, was criticized for its harsh sentencing policies and focus on law enforcement rather than treatment and prevention. And the growing threat of international terrorism, which culminated in the 1983 bombing of the U.S. Marine barracks in Beirut, highlighted the challenges of protecting American interests overseas. Overall, Reagan's presidency was characterized by a commitment to conservative policies such as tax cuts, deregulation, and military strength. While his presidency faced significant controversies and challenges, Reagan's vision for America helped to reshape American politics and pave the way for the conservative movement that would dominate the 1980s and beyond. Ronald Reagan's presidency had a significant impact on American politics and culture in the 1980s and beyond. His conservative political philosophy and policies helped to reshape American politics and shifted the country to the right. Reagan's ideas and policies influenced later conservative politicians and leaders, both in the United States and around the world. Reagan's emphasis on limited government, free markets, and individual liberty helped to reinvigorate the conservative movement in the United States. His presidency marked a departure from the more liberal policies of the 1960s and 1970s, and set the stage for the conservative movement that would dominate American politics in the decades that followed. Reagan's emphasis on deregulation and tax cuts helped to spur economic growth and create jobs, and his focus on military strength helped to restore American confidence in its ability to defend itself and its allies. However, Reagan's legacy is not without criticism. Critics argue that his policies contributed to income inequality, environmental degradation, and the erosion of civil liberties. The deregulation policies that Reagan championed helped to create new opportunities for businesses and investors, but also contributed to income inequality and the concentration of wealth among the wealthiest Americans. Additionally, Reagan's emphasis on deregulation and economic growth came at the expense of environmental protections, and his administration was criticized for rolling back environmental regulations and failing to address climate change. Furthermore, Reagan's presidency was also marked by controversies, including the Iran-Contra scandal, which tarnished his legacy and raised questions about the administration's commitment to democratic principles and the rule of law. In conclusion, Ronald Reagan's presidency had a significant impact on American politics and culture, and his conservative political philosophy and policies helped to reshape American politics and shifted the country to the right. While his legacy is not without criticism, his influence on conservative politics in the United States and around the world is undeniable. In conclusion, this video has explored the life and legacy of Ronald Reagan, the 40th President of the United States. We have examined Reagan's conservative political philosophy, which emphasized limited government, free markets, and individual liberty, and his presidency, which was marked by tax cuts, deregulation, and a focus on military strength. We have also discussed Reagan's legacy, which continues to influence American politics and culture today. Reagan's political philosophy and presidency represented a departure from the more liberal policies of the 1960s and 1970s, and helped to reinvigorate the conservative movement in the United States. His policies aimed to stimulate economic growth, create jobs, and restore American confidence after a tumultuous period in American history. Reagan's ideas and leadership influenced conservative politicians and leaders around the world, and helped to shape economic policies, foreign policy, and social values for decades to come. Today, Reagan's legacy remains an important part of American politics and culture. The ideas and principles that he championed continue to shape political debates and policy decisions, particularly within the conservative movement. His leadership and vision inspired a generation of Americans, and his impact on the country and the world cannot be overstated. In summary, Ronald Reagan's political philosophy, presidency, and legacy have had a significant impact on American history and continue to shape American politics and culture today. His ideas and leadership helped to shape the conservative movement in the United States and influenced conservative politicians and leaders around the world. Reagan's legacy remains an enduring testament to the power of ideas and leadership to shape the course of history. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it informative, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content like this in the future.